Imagine living every day with clarity, peace, and purpose. What if I told you that it was possible if you were to awaken your intuition? Your life would just become much more simple. You would stop second guessing yourself. You would know exactly what to do next. In today's interview with Sonia Choquette, and if you don't know her yet, I promise you will love her. She's a renowned spiritual teacher. You will learn during the interview so many things about intuition. You will learn about what is intuition, how to tell if it's your intuition versus your ego. You will learn daily practices on how to cultivate your intuition. You will learn why fear blocks it and why fear is actually clogs up the channel and why Sonia calls it you need to empty out the garbage. You have to get rid of your fear, but first you have to name it, to claim it. You will also learn, for my empaths friends, you will learn how to protect your energy. Because if you're an empath, you know how easy it is to get polluted by other people's energy. So you will know how to clear it, how to stay away from it. You will learn also how to live in a very fast changing world, how to separate yourself from the noise, how to reconnect within and live out your life purpose. For my feminine friends, you will also learn how to activate and live out your divine feminine so that you can manifest your desires from a soft, feminine, and peaceful energy. Sonia also talks about our ego being a yelping dog, the constant chatter. This interview will change your life when it comes to intuition. So welcome. And if you are new to this channel, my name is Joanna. This channel is called Manifesting J.O.V.E. And J.O.V.E stands for joy, optimism, vision, and energy. Because I believe without those four things, it's really hard to have a good and happy life. So in my channel, I share with you everything I'm learning because I want to help you to live out your life purpose, live it in peace, in happiness, and live out your dream life. So if you don't mind subscribing, liking, and sharing, also commenting below. I love to see your comments. I would love to hear from you. Tell me what you like about this interview. Tell me what is the main things you have learned. And without further introduction, let's jump into my interview with Sonia Choquette. I will see you there. Thank you so much, Sonia, for being here. Today I have the honor of talking to Sonia Choquette. She's the intuitive guide and spiritual teacher and author of over 27 best-selling books. Over the last decade, Sonia has helped millions of people all over the world. So I'm really excited to have Sonia here with me today. Thank you, Sonia.
It's my pleasure. I'm really happy to be with you and your beautiful audience.
Thank you, Sonia. I really appreciate you being here. I know how busy you are, and I've been watching you for years now, and you have helped me tremendously through your channel and through your book. So I'm so happy to be able to speak with you. So, Sonia, for the audience that doesn't know you, can you tell us a little bit about yourself and how did you get started on your journey and what led you to the work you're doing today?
Well, I'll try to make it short. I grew up in a family, one of 7 children, but in my family, we always centered around the understanding that we are spiritual beings, that we have more than 5 senses, and the most important sense is our inner guidance, and our inner guidance is the connection that we have to spirit. And it's the most honest, authentic, empowered connection we have. So I was raised to basically, we had kind of a saying in my family, trust your vibes. And it was accurate because our inner guidance is vibration. It's energy and vibration coming from several places. It's coming from spirit. It's coming from our subconscious mind. It's coming from other people. So you can even learn to discern the different types of vibes, like types of flavors or types of perfumes. So my mom was the one that basically gave us this information. She lived through a lot of trauma and war, and she lost her hearing, lost her family. But what she did not lose was this connection to spirit. So I learned early in life that connecting to spirit was the best way to go. And I had 6 brothers and sisters and wanted to be noticed. So I got really good at trusting my vibes. That was kind of how I got noticed in a big family. So by the time I was 12, I began doing intuitive readings for people, and I was really good at it. But it wasn't fully satisfying because I felt like I was using my vibes to help them when I was really motivated to turn theirs back on. So by the time I was 15, I started teaching. That's over 50 years ago. I've been teaching people how to turn on, activate your intuition, know what it is, separate it from wishful thinking, and put it to use to create the life you want, which is manifesting your life. So I've traveled the world. I've taught in just about every country. I've dealt with all kinds of people, so nothing scares me. And I am here to really help people realize you don't have to be enslaved to anything. You can be the master of your own experience and really have a beautiful life. And I'm devoted to teaching that.
I love that. I love that message. I wanted to ask you, Sonia, because when it comes to intuition, I always question myself, is it me? Is it my ego? Is it my higher self that's speaking? Is it the angels? Is it God or the universe? Like, where am I getting the messages from? And how do I distinguish when it's my ego versus it's my higher self or God or angels?
It's a good question. And the answer is that ego information feels in your body very different than intuition, and it functions very differently. If something is your ego, it's going to leave your physical body a bit tense, like contracted. And if it's coming from your spirit or divine source and your divine helpers, the body opens up. So you feel like you have room to breathe. You just feel more open. Secondly, if it's your ego, it's busy. It has a lot to say. And it's inconsistent. First it says this, and then it says this, and then it's this, and what about that? It jumps around like a bouncing ball. If you're getting guidance from your intuition, from your higher self, from your spirit, from your source, your creator, it's not a lot of words. It's an energy. It's a feeling that you give words to, but it's a feeling and not an emotion. It's like an energy that you can feel, like heat or cold or electricity. There's a feeling, and it doesn't come here. It comes here. It comes here. It comes in your heart space. It comes in your belly, and it doesn't waver. Your ego will say, you should do this, you should, where your spirit will just say, or your real guidance will just say, like it'll almost communicate, go, don't go, stop, listen, turn around, lean in. And as you pay attention to the simple messaging, vibration, it all opens up for you. You understand, if I go and I'm being energetically guided not to, that's not going to work out for me. It's not a vibrational match. It's incongruent. So none of this is going to be registered if you're in your head. You got to get into your body. And the easiest way to do that, Joanna, is I tell people, just open your jaw wide. And sigh like you're going down a slide. And when you get into your heart, smile. It pulls the curtains of your heart open. And when you do, your head goes quiet. Then you can begin to tune in. But you know what, Joanna? There are reasons we don't tune in. And the first and most obvious one is you're going to have to want the guidance. A lot of people say I want intuitive guidance, but what they really mean is I want the universe to agree with me.
Mhm.
Maybe the guidance won't agree with you. Maybe it'll tell you you're moving in an unfortunate direction, or it won't work out for you. So there's a requirement for intuition that you have to honestly be available for it.
Mhm. I love that you said that. And when you talked about the ego and being contracted, I could literally like feel it in my body. And what you said about the ego being always confused, I think that our thoughts and our logic kicks in and try to convince us of things where on a
Mm-hmm.
deeper level, you always know,
Mm-hmm. And you
right?
know, energetically, it's not a lot of it's not words. It's a feeling. It's a sensation that is calm. I
Mm,
know. And when you listen to your intuition, your body relaxes. Even if it's difficult to listen to it, even if your intuition is suggesting, for example, a lot of people right now are being intuitively guided to end relationships or big connections in their life because they're all wrong.
mm.
Quit your job, end this relationship, stop doing this, move from this city. There's a lot of that kind of intuition coming in now, which isn't easy, but ignoring it is much more difficult.
Yes, absolutely. And that leads me to the question of like, what happens when we don't listen to the intuition? I feel like, right, we go through a lot of problems and we create a lot of issues only because we ignore it. And I know in my life, when I look back, sometimes my intuition would scream at me and I would
Mm-hmm.
still override it with my logic. But
Right.
then, there was a time in my life when I stopped trusting my intuition because I was like, well, I made so many mistakes, so how can I trust it again? So for somebody who like doesn't trust their intuition, like how can you go back to trusting it and like
Well,
knowing?
here's the thing. I don't believe that your intuition misleads you. I do believe that your intuition may guide you to something that is other than what you wanted,
Hmm.
but is aligned with what your soul requires or needs. For example, let me give you an example. I had a client who was this is a very big story, but I had a client who wanted to have a child and was not capable of having it for a whole lot of reasons. So she decided to adopt. And her intuition said this would be the right woman. She was going to have an open adoption. She was going to have, be able to participate in the whole arc of pregnancy, everything.
Mhm.
And it was a young girl who got pregnant. She was really very young, 15. And so the parents were on board, everybody was on board. But when the baby was actually born, the mother said, I don't want to give my baby up. And my client was so angry and angry with me. She said, you told me I could trust my intuition and this happened, and now I'm tricked, and I wasted all this time, and this is just furious,
Mhm.
like inconsolably so, and understandably so. And she was screaming at me, why did my intuition mislead me? And I said, I don't know that I don't have an answer for you, and I don't believe it did. And she goes, what do you mean? She just told me I can't have the baby. And she said, I'll never talk to you again. So she left, and I was devastated too and had no answer, but I felt still
Mhm.
something about this wasn't finished. Well, 6 weeks later, the young girl said, I've changed my mind again and you can have the baby. I just wanted it to be my decision. My
Wow.
parents forced me. You were so forceful. Everybody was so forceful. My boyfriend was so forceful. I just was doing what you all wanted. And
Hmm.
now that I have my chance to decide what I actually want, I do want you to have and raise this child. So there's your miracle of intuition.
Wow. And I love what you said because sometimes intuition will, it doesn't, if you follow intuition, I think it's important for us to remember that intuition doesn't necessarily mean that everything will go perfectly and smoothly, right? Sometimes
Right.
we go through the hiccups to maybe learn a
Learn.
lesson. And yeah, that's a beautiful story.
It was
And
quite an impressive experience in my own life because I knew it wasn't wrong, but I had to wait for, and actually, I'm very grateful she came back and said, I'm sorry. I was so angry and I was and now I know that this woman, this young girl really wants me to have this child is even better. So we can't negotiate our intuition and think it's a way to win the lottery every day. That's not the function of your inner guidance. You know, intuition, the word means inner teacher.
mm,
So it is the teacher in you that's saying, if you follow me, you will learn what you need to learn to have the best and most beautiful life. But the path goes like this instead of bypassing all the difficulties. Sometimes it'll help you bypass a difficulty, but that's not its most important function.
yes, I love that you said that because that's important to remember. I wanted to ask you, how do we know the difference between like our higher self versus spirit guides versus, you know,
Mm-hmm.
angels or God or the universe? Like
You
how do we know
can.
the difference?
You can. It's a matter of discernment. It's a matter of paying attention. In my book, Ask Your Guides, I write that your highest guide is your own higher self. And all
Mm,
your other guides are helping you connect to your higher self. So the thing you have to learn is it's like if you cook and you're really a good chef, you put all the different spices in the stew. Maybe if you're on your first day, you don't differentiate this is onion, this is garlic, this is coriander, this is tomato. You just, oh, that tastes good. But as you begin to work, you can begin to discern, you can begin to distinguish, oh, this is my higher self. Oh, I feel this is a guide. I feel an energy that's helping me. And then you feel the angels have a particular, very uplifting force. It's like a ray of sunshine. It's like when people see angels in the clouds, it's like, whoa. You know, it's very illuminating feeling and calming. And so it's a matter of developing the ability to pay attention. So you got to stop scrolling and you got to get in your body and you got to take some breaths and you got to pay attention. But it's natural for you to start being able to distinguish.
mm,
You sense it. It's how you're hardwired. It's like, I know this. It's like you could say, how do I know the difference between a lemon and an orange and a grapefruit? Well, first you just know there is a difference and they're kind of related, but they're not the same. Then you can begin to distinguish that they're same but different, divine support but unique. Now the good news is you don't need to tell the difference. They'll help you anyway. So you just open yourself up and say, I'm open for some help here. And it's like when you get on an airplane, I don't need to know how to fly the plane. I'll just get on and go. So you can learn, and it's wonderful to learn, but it's not necessary to be
got
helped.
it. You mentioned the book Ask Your Guides, and you
Yeah.
mentioned how important it is to ask, right? I always, what comes to my
Yes.
mind is this sentence that God is the gentleman, right? So he won't just push himself on you. You have to ask. And it's the same with
Yes.
the spirit guides, right? So how do we ask? Because there's this whole thing in manifestation about not asking from the level of like begging or like lack or lack, like asking
Yeah.
from the point of abundance, or like how do we
Right.
ask the proper way um to receive
Well,
the
here's
intuition
how I
guidance?
like to do it. I have granddaughters, and I have one who's 4, and she just is loved, and she trusts that the universe loves her. That's her experience. And if she wants something, she simply says, may I please have this? Like
Mm,
yesterday, she said, Nana, can you please take me to Disney World in Paris? She didn't say, please, please, please. She just like, it's there. I want to go. Can we have that experience? And I
I love
said,
it.
sure. What a good idea. Let's do that. And I'm thinking to myself, and I'm just immortal. And it made me so happy to say yes. So I thought, it reminded me how the universe, God loves us. Wants to say yes. So it's our own low self-esteem that feels we have to beg or to earn it or be worth it. It's our training, our conditioning. It's not how the universe wants us to ask. We ask, but you don't have to ask 50 times. And you ask with the confidence that you're going to get a yes. You're going to get a yes. However, with that yes comes responsibility. I remember my daughter, my own daughter, when she was 7, wanted a dog. Really wanted a dog. And so my husband at the time said, "What do you want for your birthday?" I said, I want to give our daughter a dog." He was like, "Oh, no, that's going to be a problem." I said, "It's not. She wants a dog. She will." And he said, "Well, then she'll have to take care of it." And I said, "Of course.
Mhm,
We'll expect her to do that." And I told her when she got the dog, I said, "Here's your dog, but you have to take care of him." It was a girl, actually. And she said, "I will. I'd love to."
mhm,
So when you're asking for something, ask yourself, would you love the responsibility for that?
mm.
That will tell you whether it's something you really are committed to. Would you love the work that goes with that or the responsibility? Like, I would love to ask for a partner, but would you love, being in a relationship with a human? Humans are complicated. They're fabulous, but not necessarily, they come with challenges. So would you love that? Would you love the growth of that? Then okay. If you think, well, I want a partner, but I don't want the problems, then it's very conditional. So you set up your own obstacles.
I think you just hit such an important point because very often we ask for something, but on a deeper level, we have resistance against it because
Yeah,
there's what you just mentioned, like, for example, like, oh, maybe I want to get married, but I don't want to, I like to live alone, right? Like there's that
exactly.
resistance. It's kind of the counterintuitive goals.
Right,
Uh, so I think like for the community that's listening about manifesting, it's so important to be aligned with everything that comes
right.
with it, right? So how you do this soul searching about like, I say I
Well,
want it, but how to,
again, you just have to check your vibration. Do you feel resistance? I remember years ago, Joanna, a long time ago, I really wanted to write a book, my first book. I knew I should write and teach. I knew that in my heart, and it was a big desire. But at the time, I had a 1-year-old and a 2-year-old, and we were renovating a house, and it was a lot of work, and it was very little sleep in those days. And so I would try to write, and then I would write and then throw it away and write a page and throw it away and be frustrated. And finally, I realized I don't want to write a book right now.
mm,
I want to relax and sleep all I can right now. And when I'm not so exhausted, then I'll write a book. And so I stopped trying to write for 3 years until my daughters got sleeping through the night and were a little older. The renovation was over. And then I now wrote 27 books. Actually, I think I've written more. But my point is, if you're really stuck, it's not all or nothing. Maybe you're just getting ahead of yourself. What do
mm.
you want right now? Your intuition will help you once you're committed, but your intuition won't help you until you are committed.
So it's such an important topic what you said. Like sometimes I feel like we get messages from our future self, right? Like what you said, your future self knew you would be the other, but your
Yeah.
current self at the moment was taking care of babies. So
Yes. And
like,
I was tired.
yes,
So I think that when you're manifesting and you want to manifest and you want to use your intuition, The key is being honest. What's honestly going on? I know especially in two areas. Okay, there's two areas that people want to manifest more than anything. Area number one these days is abundance and money. Everybody is feeling quite challenged in terms of their security, and people are learning. I can manifest abundance, so I want to. I want to have a more secure life. So that's number one. Used to be relationships were number one, but that's not number one anymore because people are also learning, I want to be happy in my own company.
Mm-hmm.
So number two is I just want to feel good whether I'm with someone or not. That's something I've seen change in the last 30 years. And it's very exciting because that is what is the foundation for good relationship is you're first relating to yourself in a way that feels really good. You really love who you are. Then it goes to relationship in that order. But you have to just ask yourself, like with abundance, a lot of people have watched the movie The Secret, which was about a decade ago or more, and they're reading about abundance all the time. But what's not emphasized enough with that is that there are laws in the universe, and one of them is you get what you give. So you can't just say, I want the universe to just deliver me a pile of gold and I'm going to sit here and watch TV and hang out while it does that, because that is not, it's called the law of reciprocity, the law of give and take. So if you say, well, I will give whatever I can in terms of my gifts, my creativity. For example, this is a fun one. I had a friend in Paris, because I live part-time in Paris. But years ago, I've been in Paris a long time. She wanted more than anything to be a successful professional singer. That was her goal. She kept saying, I want to get a record deal. I want to be successful. I want to be a star. I want to make millions of dollars, and really pretty consistent on that. So what happened was we were taking a metro in Paris one night, and we met a guy who was a busker. He had a guitar and he was from New Zealand. And he said, I'm going to go sing. She said, can I go? And I said, oh, you two have fun. I'm going home. She started singing with him. The next thing you know, they're a couple. Now she's having fun with him. And the next thing you know, they get married. And she was very young. And then she moved to New Zealand. So she wrote me, she said, well, I guess so much for my career. And then 4 years later, she said, you know what? I'm one of the most popular professional on the chart singers in New Zealand. I
Wow.
am successful. But it went zig, 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 zig through someone she met on the metro. So that's where, if you're not too controlling, the universe can really help you manifest with following your intuition, which is what she did. She kept saying yes to these invitations. And she could have said, no, I want to be a rock star. I need to go back to LA. I need to go to New York. I can't marry you and go to New Zealand. She could have said that, but she didn't.
I love this story because sometimes the universe will give us our desire, but it might look different or might be a
Quite.
variation, right, of that. And being open and flexible with this is so important. Would you,
Yes,
yeah, I love Sonia when you mentioned that she was listening to the intuitive nudges, right? Almost like she was following the little steps. How can we
exactly.
listen to those intuitive nudges? Like, how can we be aligned with them and not miss the signs? Like, paying
Well, here's a
attention.
good way. When you get a sign, a feeling, a gut feeling, an aha, a sense, say it out loud.
Mm,
My intuition says, because the minute you say it out loud, your body will hear the sound of your own voice. And if it is intuition, your body will relax. And then it becomes very difficult to ignore it. If you don't say it out loud and you keep it in your head, it's very easy to ignore it. Very easy. And
mm,
so you miss it. You say, I knew that. I should have. Why didn't I? But if you say it out loud first, it's really difficult to ignore it. And so that's how you do it.
So the power of the spoken word. So would you say that it's more like for people who use affirmations? Would you think it's more
It's a little
effective
bit
when?
different, Joanna. When you speak, when you're expressing intuition, it sounds different. It feels different because it's coming from your heart. It has a different frequency, a different tone, a different vibration. When you say it from your head, it sounds different. Just like when you're talking to people, you can tell if they're talking from their heart.
Yes.
You can feel it versus up in their head and you feel a bit removed and a bit, blocked. So when you speak and you express your inner guidance, it always comes from the heart and it has power. And you hear your own words, you can feel if that's true. Even affirmations, if they come from your head, they're probably not going to work. If they come from your heart, they will.
So Sonia, what would you say if there was just like one practice that the most important practice for everyone to do during the day, and maybe what you do yourself to stay connected to your intuition, to stay, kind of in the flow with your guides or higher
Well, the
power?
first thing, my first practice is change the channel and listen to your heart and give a lot less attention to your noisy head. I call that your barking dog. It's just a noisy machine. So that's where we started, Joanna.
I
And smile.
love that.
You're in your heart. You're home. And then put your hand here and say, what does my heart say? And answer out loud. And if your mind is super busy, then don't fight it. You just start naming. Well, my head says, and you just name them. And then when you can't name anymore, well, my heart says, and then let your heart speak, and then your body will relax. And then you get to choose. So you want to try it?
Yes, I would love that.
Okay, so what do you want first we have to go back to what I said about intuition only speaks if you're genuinely available. So do you have a question or would you like intuitive guidance in an area that you're genuinely available?
Yes, I think I would like guidance as far as my channel.
Okay.
I've
Okay,
I'm
perfect.
working from my heart. I'm doing it when I'm inspired or like when I can talk to somebody that inspires me like you.
Yeah.
And I would love
Yeah.
guidance as far as this part of my life, which is right now
Okay.
like my hobby.
Fair enough. Okay. So now, first you have to voice it. I would like guidance about my channel. Do I continue? Is there anything I need to, be aware of? And then let's do step one is do the breath. And smile. Now, second thing is I want you to look at something right in front of you and name what it is. One thing physical in your atmosphere, in your environment.
My laptop.
Okay. Perfect. What that does, John, is it brings you back to the moment, back to the here and now. Now, we're going to empty the garbage. Okay. So I want you to answer me quickly. When it comes to this question, I'm afraid of,
Failure.
I'm afraid of,
Judgment.
I'm afraid of,
Not delivering and acting out of my ego versus my guidance.
I'm afraid of.
My ego.
Breathe. Go back to the heart, slide in. And look at something again. What are you looking at?
A lamp.
Okay. I'm afraid of.
I feel like it's harder now. Like
Okay, good. So the garbage is empty. Now put your hand on your heart. And my spirit says,
to keep going,
and my spirit says,
to be peaceful,
and my spirit says,
to listen.
yeah, and my spirit says,
It's okay.
and my final question is, Joanna, does that feel true?
Yes.
Does your body feel calm?
Yes.
Ah,
Wow, that was so amazing, Sonia.
it
Thank you.
works. It works.
So the irony of this is is that sometimes we run away from our fears, right? And we don't want to name them. But going through this exercise
we got to go the opposite.
That's right. That's right. That was beautiful, Sonia, because like naming the fears make them almost
Fear
sound
doesn't
ridiculous.
stop you. What stops you is hiding them. Once you name them, they disappear.
That is such an amazing lesson. And like whatever it is, whatever you resist persists, right?
Exactly.
Same with fear. Okay, so just naming your fear and asking, what am I afraid of? I love
and
that.
And then just come back. You don't go into it further. Just let it be. Come back to the moment. Come back to your breath, something right in front of you until there's no more. And then you can hear your inner guidance.
I love that. I love that. Emptying the garbage by naming the fears.
Empty the garbage.
That was amazing, Sonia. I want to ask you about Divine Feminine, because I remember when I started to watch your channel, one of the things that attracted me to you so much is that like I feel like you're so in your feminine, and yet you get things done. Like that is to me the best combination. I feel like sometimes people confuse the Divine Feminine just like sitting back and not doing anything. And tell me, how do you do that? How do women stay in the Divine Feminine?
I definitely am very much in the feminine in that I'm listening to guidance. And then my ego is not a problem. My ego is a servant. So my ego serves the feminine. So if my feminine, my guidance says something, then my ego says, okay, I'll help instead of I'll fight it. And so I've trained my ego to be my cooperative ally, never questioning my guidance, only helping. And so if I get like, write a book, okay. Not how, I wonder, I worry, it's okay. I sit down and write. And I will sit down and write for 30 minutes. If my guides say, change the plans, if my higher self says, don't go there, then my ego says, okay, let's find another solution. So if you don't fight, and you know the ego serves the spirit, that's the divine order, you can get a lot done. It's when your ego fights the spirit that you waste time. And then you're neither feminine nor masculine. You're just a mess. So that's how it works out for me, as I deeply, deeply serve the spirit that comes through me. And my ego has a very important job, which is to say yes and help, not fight.
So, Sonia, would you say, because just even going through the exercise with you, I realized that when I was naming my fears, almost like my ego became quieter. Like I feel like my ego often is the loudest when my fear is the strongest. Would you think?
Your ego is really not supposed to run your life. Your spirit is. And so when the ego is running your life, it gets all worked up. And then it tries to gets noisy and loud and aggressive and defensive, and it secretly knows, I'm not up for this. I'm not qualified for this. I'm not going to do a good job. So if you just tell your ego, look, you're off the job. Your job is just to follow the spirit. Then your ego quiets down. So when we started naming your fears, your ego was like, oh, good, I don't have to hide those anymore, so I can relax too. And then the spirit will tell us what to do.
Wow.
And it's how we're wired. It's how we're all designed. This is not something specific to me. I've taught people all over the world. It falls right into place. I activate your intuition by calming your nervous system. I help that. It's like I'm kind of like a jumper cable, if you will, for a dead battery, but I don't need to do it too much because your spirit wants to take over.
I love that. That is such a beautiful message. What do you think is the most important thing for the community now with the times we live in, where AI is taking over and financial institutions, with crypto taking over. There's so much uncertainty going
It's a
through
lot
right
of
now.
change, and we can't fight that. But AI is the one thing AI can never replicate because it can't feel energy. So it can't. AI is not something different. Your AI is your AI. My AI is my AI. It's just a mirror for how we think.
Mm.
So I have nothing to fear about AI, but it can't sense. And so it's more important now than ever to develop your intuition to sense how energy is traveling. Because AI can go off, as we know, and drift and say all kinds of things because it's a logic brain. And logic brain can go off on tangents all the time. The world is changing. Our money systems are changing. They're evolving. It's a bit of a mess right now because there's not any clear paths yet emerging. But if you listen to your intuition, it will navigate you through these times. And we're moving to more efficient, better consciousness because look at all the people who are starting to be interested in intuition.
Mm-hmm.
For one, I've been teaching for over 50 years, and a good 45 of them, people laughed at me and told me I was nuts. Now everybody wants to learn. So I'm excited because if we have this many more intuitive people on the planet, we're going to make better choices, more loving choices, more conscious choices. And so there's only going to be improvement ahead. Frankly, the worst times were behind us. We're just in the messy middle right now of change.
I love that you said that, and what you said about AI. That's kind of a reflection of us because there's different people get different answers from AI based on what we
Exactly.
feed it.
It's just
So
a
we.
massive mirror of how you think. You program your AI to be a mirror of your own consciousness.
Hmm. And from Sonia, from like the practical standpoint, every day, I know there are people that are focused on numbers or like
Mm-hmm.
the things they hear, like the auditory, visual. From the practical standpoint, how can we listen to our intuition like on a daily basis and be guided and not miss the
Well,
messages?
first thing is you have to create the space. You got to create the space. So you have to empty the garbage, breathe, be quiet, sit in nature, even for 5 minutes. So go sit in a park bench, go walk around in the backyard, go walk out down the street and listen to the birds. Just get out of your head and listen to the field. The field is the energy around you. The field is also the energy in you. So make it a priority, make it interesting. It's something that you should be real interested in. And if your head's scrolling and scrolling and you're checked out, people are talking to you, you don't even see them right in front of you. So you're not going to pick up intuition because it's very subtle.
Mm-hmm.
So come back to your body, come back to your breath, breathe and smile, open up, be aware, be interested, and listen with your whole body. And ask yourself, how does this feel in my body? Not, is this right or wrong? How does this feel energetically in my body? Does it feel harmonious? Does it feel tense and contracting? Does it feel agitated? Does it fit? Does it resonate? And start answering out loud, because when you name it, you claim it. Once we start talking about our intuition, we start noticing it. And then it's not about avoiding. Intuition is not about avoiding pain. Intuition is about staying on the path that's in my highest good. So if you keep saying, and I have a prayer I say every morning, lead me in the direction of my highest good this day.
I love that.
Move me in the direction of my highest good. I say that every morning since I was 8 years old. And it does, it moves you. You get
Wow.
moved. So I would say start there. Breathe. If you can't get to your intuition, it's because you're full of fear. So just start emptying the garbage. Just walk and empty the garbage. And then occasionally look up and notice something right in front of you, because the garbage is what could happen, not what is happening.
That's right.
So come and look. There's the tree, there's the car, there's the computer, there's the flower. And then there's no more garbage, and go to your heart, my spirit says, and then speak it out loud. And if it's intuition, your whole body relaxes and your mind is very quiet. That's reliable.
I love that. The quieting of the mind. You name it, you claim it, and empty out the garbage. I'm going to tell you, write this down.
Those are very good. I have tools in my book, Trust Your Vibes. Every chapter is another technique, simple like this. So if somebody wants to like really try a bunch out, and if you're not a reader, listen to the book on audio, because each one is a tool, and then you can practice and you get instant results. So, but empty the garbage, breathe and smile, empty the garbage, and then ask your spirit out loud.
I love this. And Sonia, just the last question. I want to be respectful of your time. Would you, how, for the empaths, for the ones who we pick up other people's energy. I know for me, I have to be so protective of my energy, because I feel people's things all the time. Right. How do we protect ourselves?
Well, this is something I asked my teacher in my very first lesson, and he laughed at me and he said, mind your own business. And at first I was like, wow. And he goes, no, really. Mind your own business. Stay in your body. Stay focused on what's important to you. Trust and leave other people to God, and attend to what you need to be doing for you, and you will naturally filter out at least 80% of other people's energy. And for the rest, he said, use your left and right foot and walk away. I've used that both my entire life, because I'm highly empathic, but I mind my own business. I don't try to, if I'm picking up someone else's energy, I'll say, why am I picking up your energy? What's my business I should be focused on? Meditation, prayer, writing, creativity, do my laundry, something that I need to focus on. And if I really pick up a strong energy from someone who is agitated or angry, I mean, we are affected by energy jumping. I usually say, excuse me, I just forgot I have something to do and I have to go. And then I leave. And I don't explain. And one time someone said, what do you have to do? I said, I have to take care of myself.
I love that. Gold.
It seemed to be okay.
That is gold, Sonia. You are so full of wisdom, and I want to be respected. I could talk to you for hours, but I know that you have busy schedules. I thank you from the bottom of my heart for being here. How can our audience find you? How can connect with you? I know you have different courses you offer.
I have wonderful tools. First of all, you can follow me on Instagram, which everybody does. I try to put out really significant content to help people. I have a wonderful teaching channel on YouTube, and I have great courses. I have great books. Trust Your Vibes and Ask Your Guides. Trust Your Vibes and Ask Your Guides. Everybody should own. Everybody. They will change your life for the better. And then I have all these other wonderful books. Creating Your Heart's Desire is my manifestation book. So you can come to my website or just look up Sonia Choquette on Amazon or Barnes & Noble or whatever. And if you're not a reader, consider audio, because a lot of my books are on audio and I transmit vibration. And so you would entrain, and people turn on automatically when they listen to me. So that's a very good tool for that. So those are some ways to, it's just got to know how to spell my name, get it right. It's kind of an unusual name. I will put the link
below, don't worry. I know.
But other than that, you can find me, and I have lots of tools, from big workshops, intense commitments, to Instagram, YouTube, for everybody, so nobody's left out.
I love this, Sonia. So you read your own books then? On audio, it's your voice?
Yep.
Wow, that's amazing. Okay, I'm going to get that. Sonia, Thank you so much. This was an absolute pleasure. You are such a shining soul, and I really cannot thank you enough for being here today.
It was a pleasure. It's my pleasure. It was an honor speaking to your community, and I send you all my love.
Thank you, Sonia. Have a
Okay.
beautiful evening. I know it's getting late in London, so
Okay. Got to
thank you
go.
for
Lots of love. Bye bye.
lots of love. Bye.